testing and singing in a sunshine voice. Testing the microphone, check, check, check. Homosexual, cha cha cha, is where I got my haircut. Cha cha cha. On Willie Street. I am Q, and I am the front woman in Skizzwhores. I play guitar and I sing. Skizzwhores. We had an old drummer before Dave, my old high school buddy Matt Spewak, and we were chatting one day because we used to be called the Half-Ass Shits, and we were on WORT, so we were the half bleep bleeps on WORT because we had to censor it. So one day he was asking me some questions about lesbians, scissoring to be exact. And I just played with the word, and I came up with Skizzwhores, and then we looked it up on Urban Dictionary. My favorite definition of skiz is a good lover in bed. Alright, well, I'm just going to leave out the history of the Half-Ass Shits. Long story short for that, I was 16 when I started the full band, two-piece with Matt. He's no longer in the band, obviously. We were just a two-piece. And then we met Dave at a basement show. I was playing just as the Half-Ass Shits. We started jamming more. And he was originally a drummer, Dave, of course, he drummed in the Wisconscene and Keith Moon, Ketamine Extravaganza, and the Shits, so that was his main instrument, but he played bass because he wanted to jam with us a lot. So we did that, and then we just didn't have agreements musically, me and Matt. I mean, we're still good friends and stuff like that. So for Halloween, we went through basically like drummers and bassists. Long story short, for the Maximum Inc. Halloween show at the Frequency that they throw every year, we did a Joy Division and Bikini Kill tribute, and that's when Evan jumped on bass and saved the day because our old drummer for that just disappeared because he had to move somewhere else, so lucky us, that worked out, and we asked Evan to join Skizzwhores, and it was awesome after that. Well, musically my background is, lucky for me, my mom listened to some pretty cool music, so I grew up on like Joan Jett, The Cure, and Joy Division. And then from there, I got my first punk rock album in the 4th grade. It was And Out Come the Wolves by Rancid, and I was hooked on that so much. And then I got into gothic, punk rock, ska, all the subgenres of punk, basically. My favorite band of all time, though, is the Distillers. I do have a Distillers tattoo commemorating like my favorite album by them, which is their first self-titled album. I think it's raw, it has energy, and the lyrics are just, it makes you feel better when you're pissed off at the world because it has the energy and the vocal tone that Brody Dem has. And I started playing guitar in the 6th grade. I just bought a guitar, my mom bought me a guitar. I took one lesson, I learned how to read guitar tabs, and from then on I just kind of taught myself all that kind of thing. For me, usually it used to be acoustic. I'd write all my songs in acoustic because before I was in a band I was into folk punk, so I would do that. And then when I actually had more members wanting to jam with me, I added, more different tones for guitar. And after that, I just I usually write the lyrics first because I'm big into poetry and spoken word and that kind of stuff. So I'll try to match the syllables in each line, but I kind of like to go freestyle all over the place. So I just kind of try to even it out with the guitar in there, which helps. Recently, we went up north in Stevens Point for Valentine's Day, and this guy, he came to our last Stevens Point show and he kept yelling, "Marry me, marry me." And then he also asked me again at this show, "Marry me, marry me." I'm like, no. He's like, "Well, if I'm not going to marry you in this lifetime, can I be your slave?" So he literally followed me around all night, carried my gear and all this stuff, and I was like, you don't have to do these. And he's just like, "No, I want to." So that was pretty awesome. Crazy. A little creepy, but that's okay.
Wow. Did you ever hear from that guy again?
Actually, we went to South Point, which is like a greasy spoon diner, and he stumbled in drunk, and he was in the bathroom for a good 20 minutes, and he didn't come out until the waitress literally had to bang on the door and kicked him out. He just stumbled off into the night, and I never heard from him again. My favorite Skizzwhores song. That's actually a tough one. My favorite one would have to be... Lyrically, I think The Heroin Gun is probably my most, it's from the heart. It goes through what I've gone, it's about what I've gone through with addiction and stuff like that. And I've been clean for over a year off heroin, and it just makes me feel proud to play that song live every time. So it's the most personal one. And it does have some kick-ass solos and different parts for all the instruments in it. and I think people can relate to it if they know anyone who's gone through it or have gone through it themselves. I had a storm. Yeah, I guess it's like about being confined, and whether you go to jail or you're under 18 and you're an angsty teen who's like, fuck you, mom, fuck you, dad, I want to get out, I'm almost 18, blah, blah, blah. It's about, breaking free of any kind of chains or, personal bondage that you have tying you down to what you want to break free from. And the instrumental part, it started out with just a single note, and then we just added more, full chords to make it sound fuller since we only have one guitar. And Evan joined in on his own bass line because Dave used to have his own. And then Dave plays a little harder than our old drummer, so we got it sounding hard as we want to sound, basically. First time I ever stepped up on a stage personally, well, I was in middle school, and that was like my first time in front of a crowd. My first time on my own acoustically, I was 15 years old at an open mic at the Rothskeller. I went by myself, and I remember just being this awkward 15-year-old girl, just like scared to death of being on stage. But I can honestly say to this day, I feel empowered when I step on. I feel comfortable. That's the best place for me. It's the safest. It's great to see that there are female musicians that are kicking butt and doing their own thing. And as for the punk scene, I'd like to see it grow more and branch out because, we got our pop punk, we got our underground, crusty punk, we got our metal type punk, but I'd like to see, it branch out a little more. That'd be cool. Maybe a little more female influence in the punk scene because, there's female musicians, like I said, but not so much in the punk. So, Dave will probably tell you this more because he's actually the one who emailed Black Flag. Basically, we got in contact with them, and they kind of made it sound like, yeah, we can play a show with you. We were so stoked because Black Flag was one of our most influential bands. The album Damaged is awesome for Dave and I know Evan probably, I don't know if he's listened to it, but I emailed the Majestic, one of the promoters there, and he's like, yeah, you're good to go just as long as you confirm it with Black Flag. So they got back to us and they're like, well, we're doing the tour package deal, which means basically they don't want any local acts, but you still can street team for us, which I feel like is kind of like, Black Flag was like the band that had the definition of what it meant to be a local band that was struggling and, who would kill just to play with the influence of theirs. So that was a little disappointing, but then I'm not going to let that be a big deal. Hopefully this spring we're going to, we have some demo tracks, but we want to, get better quality. And the title of that album is going to be Insomnia Mania because most of the songs that are the Skizzwhores songs have been written under the influence of insomnia. So.
I think it's about all that I got for you. So if you got anything else you want to add or any shout-outs, now's the time.
Yeah, we're doing the Mamas this year, the Madison Area Music Awards. You could check us out, of course, before you vote. We would like that, being based off our energy. Because we really want to get into the part where we perform. So that's where Skizzwhores shine, I think, is the live shows. And also, we're going to be on WORT 89.9 FM, I believe, on February 28th. And that's all I got for you. Thank you.